and I currently do work in my field at Coleman International Government Agency with my IT side. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelvin. I also asked that you guys could ask some questions in the chat, or you could raise your hand and you could speak out, so that this is all is for everyone, so we're able to learn from everybody here. But without further ado, sorry, my first question to all our panelists is, why did you choose the school you went to and the major that you did? We could start how we did it. So, Abel, if you're ready, you could give us an answer.
I thought we were doing ladies first.
I mean,
Okay.
whichever.
All right, I'll take the bite. Um, I think I come to you as an international student, so you get that perspective from me. So as an international student, growing up in Ghana and going through colleges in Ghana and wanting to do postgraduate studies outside of Ghana, choosing my major, choosing the college I wanted to be, I was looking into scholarships, because teaching outside of Ghana was going to be a major challenge. So I was looking into scholarships. So choosing that school was because I was motivated by the scholarship offer I had. And also the major I chose was born out of an interest. The interest that I built from when I started a career in Ghana. I was termed as, any office I go, I was termed as an IT gig, because I would love to solve IT solutions. People would bring their laptops to me. So I did not do any, I did not have any background in IT. So, but had interest in it. I feel fulfilled when I saw problems in IT. So it was an interest that built in me. And I said, okay, why don't I take this as a challenge and do postgraduate in it? So that was where I started searching, looking for scholarships. And yes, the school that gave me the better offer was what I inclined to. And that was why I came to the United States to pursue IT, master's in IT. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. Angela?
So I chose my school because one, I knew I did not want to stay in state. That was the one thing that I put in my head. I was like, I'm not gonna stay in state, because I knew for me, I'm not somebody who can stay at home and go to school. I need to be able to just dedicate my time to school. So I did eliminate in-state schools from my list. And because of that, I also knew that I had to work hard to find scholarships. So at the end of it, I chose the school that gave me the most amount of money, but the school that I also felt like would invest the most in me. So I chose to go to a smaller university, a private university, because at that point I felt like it met all the needs that I had. Because with a smaller school, I could have professors actually spend time with me and all of that. I chose my major because initially when I went to um, college, I was going to do uh, global and international relations and computer science double. And I'm a fast math class. And I was like, no. I am not doing this, which is funny because now all I do is math. But I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And since global and international relations required economics, which was a lot of math, I was like, I'm canceling that. So that's how I got to history and political science, because I wanted to still do a lot of the international relations that I was very interested in, but kind of curate something that I knew that I would not be miserable doing, but I will also find a job doing afterwards. So that's how I came to that conclusion.
Thank you so much for that, Dr. Caroline.
Yeah, so for me, I chose my school because of tuition. Usually, when you're going to school for medical stuff like medicine, pharmacy, and all that, it's quite expensive. And so when I saw the tuition rate, I was like, okay, sure, why not? Because I don't want to graduate with a lot of loans in my account. And why I chose pharmacy, I believe most people probably know that my dad initiated that. But what they don't know is I quit pharmacy at some point. And the reason why I came back into pharmacy is to prove myself that I can do whatever I put my mind to. And so, and then I decided to go into it and prove to myself that whatever I put my mind to, I can do it. Yeah, that's why I chose pharmacy.
Nice. Thank you so much, Kelvin. I'm not sure if you're
Yes.
speaking. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I was muted. But yeah, so I'm like I said previously, I went to George Mason. I chose my school because one, Mason is right next to me, honestly, like a 5 minute drive. But I did start at Nova first for 2 years before transferring to George Mason. And just like everybody said, to cut down costs, because we all know college is pretty expensive. Nova was cheap for the most part, and Mason is expensive, but I was able to save a lot by not staying on campus since I do live pretty close. So that was also a benefit. My major, I originally actually used to be a bio major, and I think halfway around when I transferred to Mason, that's when I switched over to, because it was kind of a hard choice picking because I was interested in both healthcare and IT, but luckily, as soon as I transferred to Mason, that's when Mason started introducing the health informatics major, which kind of introduces both healthcare and IT incorporated into one major. So it kind of made it easier for me to switch over because I had already completed most of my sciences with my bio major. So it was very easy to switch over. All I had to do was kind of complete my IT classes in order to get my degree. So that's kind of how I went about picking my major.
Thank you so much, Kelvin. I feel like all of you kind of touched on my next question, which is before going into college, did you know exactly what you wanted to do? And if you didn't, how did you navigate going to either ask questions or figure out what you wanted to do? Or do you think your plan over time changed? Like from when you first started, like freshman year, to where you when you graduated? Do you believe that your plan changed, and how did you navigate about that? Does anyone want to take that question, or should I just go in order again? Because it might be more personal to others than.
Yeah, I can go ahead and start, since I already said I changed my mind. I think that you go into college thinking that your major is going to be a certain thing because you expect certain type of work and you expect certain type of loads in what you're going to do. And here's a thing. Every school does things a little different. And I know for a lot of people who transfer, they get that feeling of like, oh no, this department runs things a little differently. So based off of what school you go to, your experience doing any given subject may be a little different. And because of that, it might affect whether you want to do a certain major that same way. What do I mean by that? Like, for example, global and international relations in other schools is just a political science thing. They don't add economics, they don't add any other departments, whatnot. And so when I got to my school and I realized, wait, this was not what I thought it was. This was not what was going to help me in at the stage that I was at that time. I had to change that major. But I also had to keep in mind that I needed to make sure I get a job at the end of it. And so I also needed to make sure that I wasn't just taking classes for fun and I wasn't wasting my time pretty much. So I did change my mind, but I also tried to make sure that the direction in which I was going was grounded in a way that I could still get a job at the end of it. So changing your mind is completely normal. College is actually expected, but making sure that you know what to kind of expect by asking other people in that college what that department is like, but then taking your first year to kind of take classes to feel it out instead of just taking regular gen ed classes helped me a lot.
Thank you so much for that. Does anyone else want to take that question? Kara, you mentioned that you left pharmacy for a while. What prompted you to go back?
Okay, so actually, well, there's a question in there that would make me talk more about that. So, but I'll just say a little something. So, it got to a point, I had an admission to pharmacy school in 2018, and then I couldn't pass my organic 2 class. So, if you're not able to pass any of your prerequisites, you can start the program. And at that point, I was just tired because I had tried in 2017 also. So I just decided to quit the program and start something else. And that was how I started. I had my bachelor's. So I quit the program and I went back. But then at the end of the day, 2019, I still came back to pharmacy because, as I said before, I didn't understand why I was quitting at that point. Was it because I felt like I couldn't do it, or was it because I just didn't want to put the efforts into doing it? And at the end of the day, I drew the conclusion that I can do it. And so I went back into it, and then this is the result. So yeah, that's why I quit for some, temporary.
Okay, thank you so much for those answers. So we have a lot of college graduates, or sorry, high school graduates that are going into college. And I know this is a time when they're probably applied for college and they're about to go into college. So what are some of the best ways you feel like you prepared yourself for college? I'll start with Kelvin.
Sorry, can you repeat the question one more time?
Yeah, I was saying, what were some of the best ways you prepared yourself for college as we have high school graduates who are about to start their college career?
Yeah. Okay. So back in high school, senior year, so I went to an IB school. So we kind of had, college preparation classes or courses, things to kind of people to take to kind of prep them. To be honest, if I'm really being honest, it didn't really do much to me. It was more so of self-learning, self-teaching for a majority of these things. And for people that do or might be starting at Nova, um, an advice I will give is, don't depend solely on, these advisors. Kind of do your own research, figure out exactly what you know that you want to do and follow. There's a what's it called? Your based off your major, there's a list of classes you got to take. So kind of gauge it, figure it out on your own, because a lot of these, you know, I'm sorry to say, but a lot of these advisors don't really know what they're doing, and you end up taking classes that you don't really need. At least at Nova, I'm not sure about other schools, but you end up taking a lot of classes that you really do not need, and you end up wasting money and time. So, an advice I will give is, kind of just find out. If you don't know, you ask questions, but also is a lot of self learning and a lot of self teaching when it comes to college. And transferring, that was also very complicated. It was usually a couple of my friends that had went through the process that were able to help me, also get through that process. Advisors were there to help, but like I said, don't depend solely on them, because like like I said, they're just doing their job. So, they don't care as much about you because they have a bunch of students to care about. So just know that you're not their priority. So kind of figure out on your own. Make sure you know your time limits, your time frame of when to apply for this school, when to apply for that school. Figure out what school is best for you when transferring, depending on your major. And that's the most important thing. What Angela touched on, picking your major. That you want to make sure it's something that, one, when you do get out, it's something that will benefit you. There's a lot of people that do certain things in college where it's like it might be a hobby or maybe something you love, but kind of think in the long term, what profession can you do with it, or what job can you really get with this degree? So these are all things that you should kind of research, figure out. And if you're not sure, you do start with general studies, but the longer you stay in general studies, the more time you're wasting. So kind of figure out before you get into it to really know exactly what it is that your heart desires, or exactly what you want to do in the future.
Great answer. Thank you for that. Sorry. Do you have a question? I think they're just on mute. Can someone unmute them? Okay. Can you please mute yourself? We can hear you if you don't have a question. Okay, there we go.
Go ahead,
Dr.
I'm
Carol.
muted.
Oh, sorry. Dr. Carol, do you want to take that question as well? I could pass it to Abel if you're still thinking.
Okay. I just want to touch on it briefly. For me, I think that stage of your studies is called an inventory stage, where you want to take all inventory of what you want to do. You also take inventory of yourself, your weakness and your strength. And so to prepare yourself for this kind of processes is a lifetime process that you want to do. So I consider that as an inventory stage that you have to, first of all, find the right mindset. Find the right mindset that, yes, this is the time you are going into pursuing something that will benefit you in the future. And so you have to be mindful of the decisions you make, the measures you choose, the kind of strength you have, your interest. You should reassess all of them into one package of yourself. You should also unlock your personal skills. What skills do you have? What skills can benefit you? Because going into college, you need to build on hard skills and also soft skills. And therefore, taking those inventories will give you that. So identify yourself. And Kelvin touched on it. Yes, you can talk to senior colleagues. You can have mentors who you can talk to, people who have gone through the process, gone through the mill. I have not been through the American system. You can have people who have gone through the system, gone through the mill. They took the long route. You can ask them, get that knowledge, get that information. They said, if you think information is expensive, try ignorance because you're going to pay for it. If you are ignorant of something, you're going to go the long route, pay a lot of tuition, pay a lot of waste of time, and that will not help you. So with that, you have to learn how to manage your time. That is the steps I'm giving out. Taking inventory, know yourself, unlock your personal skills, manage your time. Managing your time is getting the right information, not being ignorant, and making the right decisions. At that time, you are very mindful of the steps you want to make because it's going to affect your future. And therefore, every step you make should count. And that is what I want to give on that.
Thank you. I hope everyone is taking notes because they are really giving us some great advice here. Dr. Carol, back to you.
Also, I think they really touch base on everything, but I would like to use myself as an example. I did my high school in Ghana, and I thought I would be in tertiary in Ghana, and all of a sudden I'm in America, and I started school at Nova. I didn't know anything, but shout outs to Abigail. I think she was already there when I came, and she guided me through it because I had learned that people go to Nova and then they spend extra years that they're not supposed to spend there. But when I came, I had someone to guide me through it because they were already in it. So I would advise, as they've already said, speak to people who have already gone through that process, and they'll be able to guide you through it so that you don't make such mistakes on your journey towards your goals. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Lastly, Angela.
My advice would be what I wish I knew. And me kind of say no nia person me kyerɛ ne sɛ ade baako a ɛtwa sɛ ohu about college no nia wasua wɔ high school nyinaa to gu. Behaviors a wodi sua de wɔ high school nyinaa to gu because ɛnyɛ adwuma. Nia wotimi yɛ wɔ high school ana wotimi de pass no udru college a oyɛ the same thing a obefailing. And in all honesty, my first semester of college, the grades were not grading. Like, my grades, me see A. Now, straight A's, I see way. Now, may I pass college? Obviously, college is not for me. But it was because same procrastination and I'm here high school, no my because high school na meet me the past. It's other than college very different. Oh, and yes, a messy idea anymore near ye. Or learning behaviors, no. So we need so we procrastinate to a high school, fix it then. Because local college I will only get worse. Into no say any behavior, and I can say, well, next year I'll fix. Next year I'll fix. You need to fix it right now. Because college, in my opinion, a level of torture, like it's unmatched. A level of can you please mute yourselves? Thank you. It's make no making sure say Oko college yes we take some of the college level classes IB Cambridge and no a boy in a way say it make you a challenge you so we take you regular classes with high school you're not prepared for college and the truth. So what kinds of college level classes no really prepare you? Not necessarily, but a beggar too will used to say you're being challenged. Another thing they say when you drew college are we adult of your own life. So what to honum air chance will be back at or say, oh, every time we connect with just an uncrofa cano. Untimi nyasa, one it just a walk now you're active in your own life. Intinu who say by the time we graduate high school, we are adults. Where the 17 or where the 16 or who do college and you spoon feeding. Into no unhia helper, busa, obi pepe biama. Do baby I'll busa obi on fee. That's fine. Kona ko find the next person. But so what's nice to say, oh, me chance obi beka chere me yeah. College no graduate, who graduate grandpa degree I'll be nyano. And yeah, no na bit me the year juma pesa way. It's to make you sure say one are you in charge of one life, especially since a lot of us in first generation who parenting in real school muda. Inti no who say oh peko mentors ye enye just obi akọ college waye wo major ni bi waye say ni bi sign no timi ko drew honom to your more advice now apply sa advice into your life inti no yeah.
Thank you, Angela. It seems like a lot of you guys touched upon networking. So my next question would be, how easy was it for you to meet people that you met or network with people who were able to help you get to where you are in your stage? Because talking to people takes you further than you just doing things on your own. So please talk about how easy it was for you to meet and connect with others and how that helped you further your career. Anyone can take it. I'm just going to leave it up to our panelists.
I want to take the first bite. I think networking is very vital, and it's not only for college. You want to be very purposeful with networking, and as you go into college, networking is one of the aspects. So, with my experience, a boy from Ghana did all college in Ghana, came to the United States to do masters, came to a diverse university, meeting different cultures. So that was when I had to be very purposeful. I have to be very quick on my feet to learn my environment. Because certain things I see, certain things I interact with, certain non-verbal cues I do may be offensive. So that is where you have to be very purposeful that you want to network and have friends for life. Because I remember once in the university, they said, while you are in the university, it's a universal world. College is a universal world. That is where you meet people with diverse background, people doing different programs, people with different measures. So you network with these people that at the end of college, when you come out and you want to speak to a friend who is a doctor, you have a friend to talk to a doctor, which can be a pro bono thing. You can call a doctor offhand and just get an advice. You can call a pharmacist offhand. You can call a lawyer. So you have to be very purposeful that you choose your friends, you choose your network, you build that network. You just don't socialize. You be very purposeful that I'm building my network. My network is something I'm building for life. And not necessarily they are going to benefit from them immediately, but there are certain people you keep close. There are certain people you keep from a distance, but you know that, yeah, they see you and you also see them. So I believe networking is a very vital skill, or very vital for your development in terms of transitioning from college and even into the job market. So you have to be very purposeful to it, very purposeful. Choose the people around you carefully, people you can benefit in college and also outside of college, and make sure you quickly learn your environment, how you are going to interact with people, how you are going to adjust your behaviors to also have that interpersonal relation with other people, diverse backgrounds. And that is what I want to say.
Thank you so much for that. Does anyone else want to take a stab at that? And also, like, talk about how you did it, because it's easy to give advice to network, but how you went about it, because some of us are shy. It's not easy for us to just go up to someone and ask. So please give us some tips on how you did it, or just help in that regard.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll go with that. For networking, like you said, a lot of us, might be shy, going up, but mostly in schools, they have, career fairs that most companies will show up to the school. That's the best way to network. Um, a friend actually gave me an advice that for the career fair, the companies that do come, they look for certain things, and it's a thing on YouTube that kind of teaches what they look for exactly, body language, the type of questions you ask them, the type of information you give them. That's what kind of draws them closer to you and tells them, okay, this person's serious, this person's not, that kind of thing. Because honestly, it's just about how you sell yourself to these people. So, networking, figuring out, it's more so personally for me, that's just how I did it. I'll go with friends if that makes you more comfortable. You can go with friends. That'll probably make it comfortable for you. And um yeah, also there's tools such as for the people, I guess not in person. Most people would do, let's say, what's it called? What's the app called? What's the app? Selena, can you help me? The app for LinkedIn.
Oh,
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
Sorry. Yeah, yeah. There's something LinkedIn as well, where there's a lot of recruiters on LinkedIn that you can easily connect with. If you're shy in person, you don't want to speak in person, you can easily connect with them. Personally, that's how most people got their job. So that's another way, but there's many tools out there. There's job fairs, career fairs. Just whenever you hear anything like that, just prepare for it. Print out your resumes. I always advise people just print out at least 20. The more the better. At least 20 resumes to take with you. Just hand them out to people and just sell yourself out. That's sometimes that's the hardest thing, selling yourself, but you just gotta practice and practice.
Okay, thank you, Kelvin. Anyone else?
Kakra me de beso so ne say, I think say you're thinking about networking, you're thinking like the broader pictures, which is good as well. But near me who pan say enough for fa and so who here say near na brai belekano. O siri show be anim keke no, a great networking opportunity because unim baby obi fiba. Nea mehu ne sɛ Ghanafoɔ no yɛkɔ school a ne yɛhu Ghanafoɔ a yɛmpɛ sɛ yɛbɛget out of that bubble because yɛayɛ comfortable, a safe space, and it's very understandable. Menka sɛ ama yɛ ne Ghanafoɔ nyɛ ɛnni nnamfofa, but nea ɛtwa sɛ yɛhu ne sɛ ɛntwa sɛ yɛyi yɛn ho I don't even know how to say silo, so we'll block or self off to like Ghana for Africa for nko be and no mboa. We make sure say what join the different activities on campus. That's one of the best ways I'll be to me and make friends in other departments near. Or the same activity or when they are casual or first day crampo no or my mo be introduce you yourselves into any awkward say me ko be I walk up to a stranger say oh me didn't say na me You make a lot of friends that way. And no now boame in so many ways because on more different departments, no more take different information than I do. It's a one my opportunity be a like my department and Canada or no departments no maka no abeka me. Till this day, me now for no more the departments no you go so one now for no na me here help obi be like math me nti bibi ase minimum be a metimi afre no but de bi anka me department na me stay anka Ghana for ni mu na me stay ya anka emboa me nti ne ye hu say ye work college ne so no one now for femu networking because there's nowhere like college all international students you all from 50 states in one place. No other time but oko grad school crampo be on the concentration. I say you're dividing into won't mean intermingle as much. But college, because obi a figure yourself out, more intermingle way more. Into who say who make you friends, go out of your way. So be make you friends with people or more different major than you, different background than you. Things are different because I know about with networking. Not because omo crumple to me recommend a juma ebia na amba wa adwemu se wo beye.
Thank you so much, Angela. Go ahead, though.
Yeah, I decided to be the last person to talk because this is something I'm really bad at. Me undergrad before pharmacy school. No, I had no friends. I am not that socialite. I'm always indoors doing my own thing. But yeah, as they've said, it's very important. Say, open make you friends because me through pharmacy school, I realized I needed that because you will suffer. I won't lie to you. Suffer. So it's very important to just try your best. You'll be able to send me out only pound fan for people. Just try. Even if it's one or two people, be cry. Ubenya will be also know what other friends are or introduce you to them. So just make the effort to mingle with other people and have conversations with them, and it will really help you.
That's true. Thank you guys for touching on that question. As I want to just reiterate, please send your questions. This is for all of us to learn. I have a set of questions that are very general. So if you have specific questions, I'd love for you to either unmute yourself or send it in the chat. So with that, our next question, you guys talked about jobs as well. And I know some of you guys are still in school and some are working. So how did you put yourself out there? I know we just talked about networking, and how did you find the job that you're doing? And I guess it's a three-part question. And what do you feel like recruiters were looking for as you were applying for jobs? I'll leave it there for our panelists to answer.
You know what? We're the medical because me na me go to school, but me juma for 1 year. And one thing that people forget is that out of anything, a college degree is a skills degree, as in when your college degree, with whatever degree it is, for the most part, jobs like I said, just a college degree, you can argue your way into it. Me juma me for 1 year after graduating, and I'm a program coordinator or George Mason in the African and African Studies program. No major. But it's what I argued for. And you're now more sure be invested in school, no, or be very active. Me work college, no. Now me work African Student Union, Black Student Association. I'm a racial and ethnic diversity representative in the student council near you to know who say you're active in race relations anyway, me easily bring back. And then I interned for like one of the vice presidents of the school, no. It's me intern, no. And once I me shame, oh, me buana mane plan way, me buana mane plan way, me buana mane plan way. When you're very specific about what you brought to the table, and not just a messia way, saying I may improve you on your messia, no. I think a lot of times that's what they're looking for. They're looking for innovation. There be a new thing now to me about because the one my work apply, it be a the exact same resume. The exact same thing, but how do you differentiate yourself outside of the classroom? What have you built upon? So I think so those are great things to keep in mind. Say, and kojina interview honomuno and regurgitate or resume. Build upon what is already not on the resume.
Thank you so much for that. Anyone else?
Okay, Senia, Angela Kayano, it's what you bring to the table, because usually when you submit your resume now, Busal say, I didn't know main fault because ABA Obi Fufron so did the same thing about. So you have to justify why they should hire you. Into some now can and yes, we're trying to maybe sometimes we're trying to talk about, but you have to make sure say you actually have those capabilities. Obit me, I'll prove it to them, say you can do it. Me mejumane de meka say when you're just done, they need pharmacists. So when you're just done, you just apply. You find a lot of pharmacy jobs out there, so you just apply. But they'll ask you questions as to senior who related with patients. As on person who say, well, go through some tough situations. So what me I solve it, which challenges be with a patient or something, just to know how you would run the business. Run the pharmacy. And see, you have to prove to them that this is who I am. This is what, if you hire me, I can do for the company, and that should put you there.
Thank you.
Okay, mame faka kanka ho. Things on my can Angela can internships. Soft skills, I would say you develop it. Ni nyina ka ho, amama yeso so yet me like equip ourselves, say you bit me IBB papa. I was you my cream. Me the life experience be too. My first job interview I was Ghana was quite unusual. Say over call interview, just panel and you having an interview. The call on almost say before that, I almost say for a laptop graph. We drew on almost say a group of 5 Montanasi. Obian your PowerPoint presentation about the NTIM file instead of the person next to you. My resume is in the or that. And it can be better on one. It just say, oh, we are better than the person next to you. So you have to project yourself. And then I can kind of say, I was saying who said, your soft skills, you need your home, DNA day, but soft skills and see developing interpersonal relations. Send on any pantom here. And said the Angela Kyan. Your topic and say the things I wish I knew. From fresh year, you can go or volunteer to do internships and build on your soft skills, how to work in a team, how to do presentations. From fresh year, which national say I volunteer, I internships. Throughout your college life, you will do internship from first year, second year. So we a idea also so bit in here. And yes, me use school and sign up internship here. From fresh year now, which national here, I will volunteer. No payment, just to work in a team, how to manage a project, how to write reports, how to proofread. Those things are something that are added to yourself. Now say stand out. Or nipa bebree a go beyond the resume ba obiara was certificate na na eba no obiara was say wakọ high school wakọ college obi kra professional certifications, but there now they come home are standing out. And no na e was say me advice say volunteering internships I idea back what a boa pa because I didn't wish on school no over apply I just why you see idea bia we bia na onye mu ntiase nti school ni dey yeah build why dream is developing so be a problem solver. And how do you solve problems? Do you solve problems on your own? Do you involve people when you want to solve problems? And then a team building, how to work in a team. We go on and say, I'm here perfect. Maybe be a person involved, you'll be a sad, so developers in the job market, no one can phone a and develop that skill. Say, meet me at your opinion. Meet me so accept your opinion. I'm an I'm not media infused the name and Tinina can home and bois. And will emphasize that internship, volunteering from fresh year. I'm sure Jim said, obey it. I didn't know which in school, obey apply.
Thank you. Calvin, do you have anything to add?
No, I think they pretty much said everything. Thank you.
Okay, it looks like Asante has raised his hand. You could go ahead and speak.
I just have a quick question. I mean, very good program, very interactive between you and your panel. But my question is, it looks as if everything they're saying is what the students have to do to be successful in college, and also we are to be successful. How can almost parents be involved in this whole process? And did they get that involvement from their parents? And what advice would they give to parents? Because we have a lot of parents on this line whose kids are in more college, and I said they are getting ready to go to college. What advice would they give to these parents to get them more involved in their kids' education when they're in college or in high school?
Parents, me pamocho. Do not believe everything we're down for Kanye. I feel like that has ruined more college careers than anything. Oh, madam for say. Oh, madam for way say. Madam for you so college you crampo on ra campus on home bida. Me pamocho. So madam for be can be a menka say you're wrong. But pacho munya research new say a legitimate thing. Because I remember a while ago, Obi debato WhatsApp saying, there's form be I was signing school ni fro every week. I remember report say Obani was school, Obani that report doesn't exist. There is no school that is gonna call you say every week you be our ma oba grade oba be school omo nyasa oba no krampo nyasa because I don't remember middle semester now we grades from beginning of the semester. It's me pa mo show yenya cautious so obi my advice yes yenfa but yen who say yenya research additional research about your ban school and any education na ne ebeboa no. Let's be very cautious about that. Also, enye bibi a wo ba ne beka no e na wo bedi echi on that same thing. Yes, oka bibi a won so your research to anamo she say oh nia me ba na ka na correct because there are certain situations a me hu say akwala no obeka che ne parents say wa enroll in school no wa jiska no or abia wa register for one class now the rest of the money no wa drop in that back into the account. These are also realities into making sure that you are playing an active role in unkola education. No, doesn't mean you are strict because what if you grandpa beti me aye and your person ye. Who say obaniko school nsua busane say school kosen bibi wo hono ma metimi aboa because ebi wo hono ma just all bafie na wa vent to you no does a lot of good things. One of the things I remember ya me penison say oh I could minim say school day. It's like, hey, let me tell you, I can see. I was like, okay, I'm doing something, right? But then my dad does the exact opposite. I was like, school dear. Now I didn't go be that. So you'll be able to me. It discourages you because to no adding my adding in that reality and not to lie, school adding. Obviously, and as hard I say, okay, manual labor, but it's a different type of labor. And adding into no young who say invalidating your money feelings, but also be involved, play an active part. Or hear any help with tuition near year bit me abwa, bepacho ye invest in your mano. Might be hot topic, but if you're not wusi wa Ghana no, you might not get back there, right? Into making sure say instead of so kasa or banning loans bebre, and gonna credit no where school known to me and toffee near yina and no into the see a bit me aboa with money no the patro yen sheni and me invest in yen kwalano because yen ye future no.
Thank you, Angela. Does anyone else want to take a stab at it?
Me,
Go
because
ahead.
I'm testimony, so I have to talk about it. My parents have played a major role in my life. I wouldn't lie about it, especially my education. I remember growing up, my dad was the one who helped me start reading, and my mom was the one who helped me with calculations. And mind you, my mom didn't really go to school. So that's how I started learning my maths. And for this journey that I have pursued in my college years, my parents have been very active. like the tuition. I remember I got to a point, some of the classes that my parents had to pay out of pocket. And it wasn't easy. Like, I had a friend who was also trying to get into pharmacy school. She tried the first time, she couldn't get in, and she was trying the second time. And her family had told her, "Oh, the only giant compared to like, why are you still trying to pursue this?" But my parents believed in me. They were always there. My school is 6 hours away, but my parents would drive to me. They'll come and visit me, spend the weekend with me, just to know what is going on. My mom would be calling me throughout the week. Class learning so there. The dear come dear. Okay. And I remember every semester I'll just call them and say, Mary, I'm moving forward. And so they were very active. Saying Angela, it's very important because sometimes stress, you go through a college, by and can't it is a one case one making the effort say, oh, me shadana, mea matria be akodan, na me busan said a day na cost school. You will never know anything. If you are not due to near more go through the classes grow on to me yet on to me pass the classes as any on see if I'm passing. But if you know what CBB say, oh, obey or yeah, fail. Now if you don't say, hey, now so me see by and what your own best obey it. No, you cannot do that. You don't know what Akwadane go through. You don't know the struggles. If you cry major now or and that's all drew on wakacho said no person or so drew on I say oh who so papa but on himself the catcher will say on to me because say hey so just trying to understand them, making the effort to just be there for them. And no, a major thing, Angela just them picking up a phone to call you and say, my me call class like near chair me grandma tells you my as Arabic near call class, and just some form of encouragement. Say, bit my year and kakra and you so be a drew who catering and I said no, because the support that more parents the body my it takes us a long way. It takes us a long way. Ubon say bedroom we call who other people cry and how because when him say backbone or more. And so if from home we are not getting that support now, we're trying to make it in life, it becomes a lot of struggle. And so yes, sure, for one financially, more partake. It won't say more projects and all that, but remember, say, future na because and yes, and a responsibility session should not be held, but then we investment in the trust adoption also a dino episode, but completely amount. Mr. Yeah, that's what I want to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Does anyone have anything else? Or we can move to the next question.
Yeah, I'm raising my hands, but
Okay.
since nobody's talking, let me just go ahead and talk. I think so. I will say, we always say we are looking for the positive aspects of things. And we just think about the positive. But if you say abrabo and I say everything cannot be a success for us as humans because now best your goal a bit in your drusa. And to see ye na say ye failure. I will say ye ma ye tea and once say failure is part of life. I will see who say it's possible so bit me fairly. And as I said, na as college kids, just say yes, and the expectations, ourselves, the family coming from Ghana, you full expectations at the end. My expect to say, oh, my banner will go school, be a doctor, or be a pharmacist, or be a nurse, or be a say. And that's all the goal is. And but then I will say as parents and as students and so, of course, Obian who school say, would he shoot him say, oh, this class I'm going to fail. But Sibibi Saba, I will see who say, I can't part of life for him. Now you accept it in good faith. Now as a parent, and yes, I'll ban up for say, be my failure class to you. Would you papa na waiting you try now, dear when try how did you not pass the class where then I'll come out went in the I was seeing who say a woman saying yes, Anna Corana pen and I say as a parent and can yes, Anna pen. but we should say some encouraging things to Nkolano. No who say, oh, failure is part of life. And he said, nothing na me person can me reach it too. But me and massa, okay. I shouldn't think say that's the end of life. You better move forward from there. But then you say now yet one time you're gonna do 2 or 3 times better the next time. So be able to pass our class and I say a retake, you're gonna retake that class. But and also just say yeah as students, no so as in Kolano, would be sure to say, oh, after all, I mean, so my pass it cry, I have another chance. No. The goal is to pass. The goal is to, move forward. But someone say bibisa can happen. And when it happens, we shouldn't feel like short, say, oh, why could I not do this? It's part of life. But the main focus is say especially when we high school, so college, I will say, line so who say go and say, oh, pass it. And can say, oh, Mrs. Sister Abigail can say, oh, you can fail. No, that's not the point. The point is we are working towards a greater goal. But if something like that happens, as parents, no, because of or the catch any parents say, oh, my failure class, we are doing no, then he might as well just keep quiet and pretend, of course, you're no granted, and you are not even paying attention to Nyama or Imo school. Of course, what if he now just eco school or pass all the classes, but now I go feel be. I just want to add that aspect of it. As parents, as sisters, as brothers, as friends, we should know how to, go about certain things in classes like failures and stuff like that. I hope Sekakariaye.
Let me jump
Okay.
in real quick.
Sorry,
Let's assume our time. It's very, very interesting program that we're having, right? But our time is running out. And so, no one I teacher am I. But we can teacher. I know Selena have a couple more questions that she have to run through. Into so many into most of the questions now. Young Queen, Midamasi.
Thank you for that. We have a question in the chat, and I also received a similar question. So it seems like a lot of the panelists knew what they wanted to do, or at least were very aware of what they wanted to do when they were going into college. How about people who are not sure what to do? They don't really know what to do with their life. How do they go about that situation? Can we provide some advice for that? And I'll leave that question to the panelists.
I think say aboso kakra kasa ne mu no, because how do you plan for college? You can want some say obi enim the person obeya. Also, you have to take inventory of yourself, and then you say seek information. Busa information. One of the cheapest way of getting the cheapest resources. Enti unim the person obeya. Minim say asori mu busia. You knew what say your competition be. Your horse ye be bomb by home, you be compliment ye home. And he said, you was sorry moody, and say bomb by home, and Tinas Ajumadi way you obi nim your person ya, your obia, what go through India who said, we were college, waba, we or college into him, and come on, Honma, our phone to some person won't carry in crown, say, if you call your shy, why chin crown? Manene manu we, manene doctor we, manene papa we a wako college ya unim so eni ni nkomo meba no ohun de opese oye saa na yo se ye na eboa ma obi a onni bibi opese oye onya ohun de opese oye obetimi no obi a wa go through system no adi nkomo amon back no hu se oba no ne skills ni interest ni awofo no so no me pese me sa kesi so se obi yi sa asutwe ni ma wa na so ka sa asem ne chewa enka se members of the base say, you're open-minded. Now, you sa information in na edeboa.
Thank you so much. Does anyone have any of the panelists have any answers?
So 2 things. One, vocational school a choice in this. I think a lot of times the care about say oh kosua fita juma, kosua, all these other things are it won't grandpa Nova offer or other schools and so offer 2 years, 1 year, where we are with a degree with me here. You need to ask yourself, so do you actually want to go to school for 4 years? One kasabusa. So when so you'll be want to meet in a classroom, then maybe vocational school is best for you because I know they will science and juma. I will be to me the eye. Unim so you'll be a person the one say yeah juma near culinary school crampo or honum, right? Unim say oh pay noa. There are these options I think a lot of times that we don't focus on. So I'll say that is one. Now, two, I think say this is when I would recommend the Nipanenko 4-year college instead of Nova. And here is why. Nova no okwa, the best way I would me use Nova is a wunim exactly ni apesa way. Because wunim ni apesa way ya ube take prerequisites ni Nova, no transfer into 4-year college, no waiting time. Oko 4-year college or more be called general education. General education requirements a classes in different departments on campus until you kind of get to explore. It is a would take you bare first year and it take you all with general education requirements now. And no ma will get you a taste of different departments. A honor na would me who say, ma who say me department ha me peha. Ma who say oh ebia me take class when they interest me. But say me take a follow-up class. Until a year 4 years no because Osha will even so to graduate, you have a certain amount of requirements to graduate. For your major, no, usually it's less than the overall requirement. Into you have a little bit of wiggle room to me explore different classes while still getting your requirements in order to graduate on time. Into those would be my recommendations. And it's okay also to change your mind in the middle of it because we school applying for law school until I realized I'm actually not enjoying what I'm doing. Into no, you do have time to change your mind.
And also, the person mechanism sometimes so obinim neo or person yeah, and not just be or name totally say like ebia na or you'll be a or versatile. Obi or penyama bebre, maybe say maybe penyama bebre. It's all jarring. I'm penyama bebre. It's such a person, no. You'll be a friend of multidisciplinary studies, which may yeah for my bachelor's. No, you can pick different minors in different subjects. Me psychology, me communication. There be more right. Me say event planning. Like you just pick several courses that you can do. And at the end of the day, work ready to any name to whichever you want to work with or proceed with. It becomes easier for you. And see, there are options for you to pursue.
Thank you. Also, sorry, Collins, you had your hand up. Did you have anything you wanted to say?
Yeah. The mechanic said those ones no more high school in no more for college. The interest idea we need you because it will be better stay over when your person rather than you go and spend some years and access some semesters before you change your program. The banners are always still time on that period. In that period, instead, how the 2 hours one can be proceed to a certain level. If you have your interest to work on, don't believe, say, you are missing message. If a person message, I've seen a friend. That friend is doing well, and he wants me to do that program. It's in a quack way. Friend, you when you do. I did be a when you do, oh, yeah, that is one thing I've learned in my life. But the when it was being introduced by somebody, and I said you were forced to do that program. Ube suffer in all the semesters. Ube break and some even book and waiting anya the GPA book a passing mark for GPA. It don't be equal. You get below 2.0. To always be an zero. Believe in yourself. The exercise you say, Obi over money, you will be beyond a bit for college. Nyamiada or my county here provide some magazines annually, some programs or more the boa community people. Picky B. Say your friend is a plumbing, kushia. Then your plumbing is a different thing because electricity, electrical aspect, kushia. seesie na akosua ɛbɛboa mu put something into the table. Meba ha sɛ na meyɛ adwuma bi. That na me my education so, but that job was even providing me for a month even $21,000. But me kasa adwuma nkyerɛ wo a you never believe w'ani nyɛ ho. Believe in yourself. Let's try and say obey hard work. So wobɔ mmɔden a Nyankopɔn no wɔ soro no ohu nea wɔwɔ mmɔden bɔ a wɔbɔ ɔbɛboa mu atumi ahyɛ so nti. But when believing yourself na wakɔdane afrafrantɔ kotwa wei hu no afei wohu sɛ obi yɛ wei na deɛ nka no akɔ wohu sɛ obi at the end of the day you come back with a failure. That's
Thank you so much, Collins. One question that we have is, how do you feel like your faith in God guided you throughout those years? Please share some experiences or testimonies with the rest of the group.
Okay, I think I would say God has really helped me a lot because coming to America, I had no science background. I did geography, government, economics, and elective math. But then when I got to pharmacy school, like even when I started my prerequisites, it wasn't easy for me. I won't lie. And when I got to pharmacy school, I just didn't know what to expect because in pharmacy school, if you fail 2 classes, you'll be remediating, and remediation is within 2 weeks. Into idea went me, a whole 4 months in a semester, no 2 weeks, no, the likelihood say won't make it high. And then also so for the unya GPA lower than 2.5, you better a 5-year program and now you better drop it out. As a URA program, no, it's do or die affair. Into every semester, I remember say every semester may faster be born pie because I didn't want to remediate. I didn't want a 5-year program. I didn't want to be out because I knew if I'm out, I'm in trouble. Like there's nothing to go back to. I added God to everything because sometimes you study, you go to class, I want to take you test. Back and who results and I was like, nah, this is not what I studied for. This is not what I'm supposed to get. Like, am I really going to make it or not? But I remember I told God, say he should make me a testimony, and so that I can share my personal life with other people. And truly, he did. Because I remember even my final year, year rotation, our final year rotation for a whole year. I went for one specific rotation, and the preceptor wanted to fail me for the rotation. And it's like I'm almost done, and you want to fail me because the moment I fail, that means you have to repeat a whole year of rotations. But nini nyame masamba like wama my testimony ampa. So I want to tell anyone out there, say you are capable of anything. And remember that God is always with you. The moment you have that mindset, now you're talking about Sisiana, there's no way you wouldn't make it. You would make it. As far as you know where you're headed and you know your goals, you would make it. Yeah.
Thank you. Anyone else?
So for me, God was central. But I had to make a conscious decision to center God. Me wahanom no me making decisions I'm out of state because I also wanted to decide if I was going to church for my parents or if I was going to church for me. Nti no, me could do Ohio honum na me pay me am sorry. And when I started going regularly, then that proved to me, say, it's my choice. And yes, I'm sorry, I'm not me parents, air force me. And the fact that I'm to me sorry because about school, no, it just strengthened my faith. And nyame why nyama pia mame, honestly, because it do times are like I'm a very picky eater. No, say eduane ne nye up to palm so me kwa koto eduane. Meaning say sika ni account mu. And I promise you that day I'll get the food for free. I don't know how. I don't know what. They will be running some sort of promotion. Me drew ham kwa eduane for free. And so honestly, church families also came in clutch because anytime I me movie out of, because during the summer you have to move everything out of the dorm, some church member will show up, pick up all my stuff into their place, and then me back, no more moving me back into my dorm. I never had to pay for a storage space. None of these things that all my other friends had to do. I never had to do that because I was blessed with a church family. So I honestly think, say, making sure you have a relationship with God, even times when I felt like class way there, I had no idea what I'm doing. I'm not gonna pass. Teacher needs me be my no catch me say like grade out or the mama no and your grade I may deserve it. Mr. Senya me attach your heart to my mommy grade na me no. It's what's your problem? Why are you telling me this? It's that's all to say. Honestly, try to make sure you keep your relationship with God. And the best thing you can do is separate what you think, like your idea that your parents are forcing you to go to church. You really need to work on your own relationship with God. Because the minute you conflate church with your parents' will, no, you will lose that relationship with God.
Thank you so much, Angela. Calvin, do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, I think Angela touched based on everything, like I really agree with what she said about the, basically doing things for your own faith and to strengthen your own faith with God rather than doing it for somebody or doing it for your parents. Because it's very true. We see it a lot, in the younger generation where, you just get up and go to church because your mom or your dad said so, not because you truly want to go. So kind of finding that balance, finding that difference to kind of really do it for you makes a big difference in your faith with God. So I agree with Angela.
Thank you, Calvin. Abel, do you have any thing to add to that as well?
I think I'll add a little bit. They've touched on all of them. I always say this, that in college, this question was always posed to me. How do you live your life when no one is watching? Say now, will be anyhow. College is a practical platform. That question way. You the best issue. Yeah, bravo. What you are from chain? Aqua college. We are independent. So you was our question we say, how do you live your life when no one is watching? And you know that me who said I was set personal relationship with God. That was all building. Unibia. Not say, oh, sorry, because of parents are college a very challenge among. You'll be swayed. A ho and young funny say, I won't home, there are influences, peer pressures. There are a lot of stuff I call college. I bet you. It is one center or when I'm a summa or some more. Never be very distracted. Never be very distracted. And to me, who said, I was self first, you build that personal relationship. And so I can't college and you build that personal relationship. One casa, only young couple to say. And yes, I will quite sorry, but what we are sorry, no young couple to say. Second is also, you're what to say. And him say, Nimumbe na your boss silent prayers. Yenjindi say, yeah, and he say, oh, bomb by a bonyama one. It is a bay also, and he, young who said, yes, silent prayers now. Nina, no, a yejuma, and the engine near mom by a power home. I give one my old ya. Oh, dear home bonfires are doing in a couple of 1 million. Did this in a couple of years? Na a bay is one. And he may say, yɛgye mpae mpaebɔ hyɛ yɛn mu sɛ deɛ ɛbɛka biara no ɛyɛ adwuma nyankopɔn nso tie na ɔbɛyɛ ama yɛn believe in God.
Bicycle tie ɛsbi sɛ ɔbɛhwehwɛ mu pɛ wode na wɔtwe tumi twi bicycle.
Can you please mute yourself? Sorry. We have a question in the chat. It reads, is there something you did in college that you regret doing? For example, type of friendship in college. Does anyone have any answer to that?
I can go. I regret not sleeping. Honestly, the time goes by very quickly, and not taking care of your health while in college is very much a thing of like, oh, we're all doing all nights and all of that. And you're sitting in class because you've done all night, you have no idea what's going on in class. So I really don't recommend the trying to pull an all-nighter every single night to try to because you're procrastinating. Those are huge regrets that I have had in my life personally. I am not a very social person per se. I prefer to stay in my room and read. And I have God has blessed me with really great friends who are always there for me. So I cannot regret the friends that I kept. Because even when they did things that quote unquote I don't agree with or whatnot, they never try to compromise my morals. And I think that is very central in finding your friends. Because yes, I had friends who did drugs and all of that. But even if I joked about, oh yeah, let me get a sip of that alcoholic drink, they will lose their mind. And even when there were like group settings and whatnot, they will have alcohol, they always made sure there was like a can of Coke unopened just for me or malt or something there. So I can't regret my friends, but I know other people who have made friends that have put them in bad, positions. And so I will say, like, if you're surrounded by people where you don't feel like you can be yourself, one, don't be around those people. Two, if you're doing something that you think you're getting back at your parents, it's who are you hurting here? It's your life at the end of the day. Your parents have lived theirs. But making sure you make those decisions for yourself, I think, are important. But for me, honestly, my regrets are procrastinating. Said mine me work on time, and I felt like I could have done better every single semester, but I never actually changed my habits. So I will say that when you learn something that semester, change that habit. Send your next semester, you will improve.
Thank you so much, Angela. Anyone else? Carol? Sorry, I'm not trying to put you on spot.
Yeah, no,
Take it.
yeah, I'm not a social person now. I'm always indoors. So okay, maybe I would say not enjoying life as I should have in college days because I wasn't going out, I wasn't doing anything, I wasn't partaking in anything. I started actually partaking in something when I got to pharmacy, but when I was doing my bachelor's, nothing. It was just studies and watching movies and maybe calling home and visiting home. That's it. So truly, I don't have anything to say about that.
I
Thank
think
you so
mine,
much.
mine will be a little bit of a technical aspect of it. Being a student and having a student email has a lot of benefits. And I think I regret not using them well, especially when you know the field you want to be in. You can use your student email to join, that have a membership and have discounts on certain events, certain symposiums. That student thing, that student benefit, I think I regret not using my own very well because you could join a lot of associations being a student and you have discounts on books, a lot of stuff that you can use that for. And I think I regret not using mine very well. And I think going forward, those listening should take advantage of it because you can join professional networks that will help you after school, after college, and it will help you. Yeah.
Thank you. Calvin, do you have anything else to add to that?
No, nothing to add to that.
We have another question in the chat is, do you recommend working during college?
Um, okay, so to answer that, honestly, yeah, I will recommend it. It teaches you a lot about money management. Also in college, I will recommend it because you will need money. You can't always go to your parents for money all the time, especially in college. Um, but it starts to become a problem when I'll say it starts to interfere with your studies. So if you are gonna work, just make sure one, you have your studies as a priority. Work is kind of just a side thing. So if you can only work, I'll say Saturday, Sunday, then that's what you can do. If you can only work, I don't know, days when you don't have class, or kind of gauge it with your schedule, figure out days when you're free, when you're available. That would be my recommendation. But yeah, I definitely will suggest and I will recommend to work during college. It teaches you a lot dealing with money.
Thank you, Calvin. Does one more person have anything to say, or we could go to the
Okay.
next question? Sorry, go
I
ahead.
can go ahead. I think I will caution working during college. The reason I'm a caution is just like Kelvin said, like it can go haywire real quick as somebody who worked in college. If you're working in college because you're choosing to, be careful. I recommend say get a job on campus and try to get a job where you're working in some sort of position that's close to where you want to go. Intino say wunim say oh yeah ejuma library. The library is a great place to get a job because a lot of times no you what's not your work while you're getting paid. So working on campus and in those campus capacities, IT say the IT department actually hires students to work. It's by the time I graduate, you already have experience lined up working as an IT technician for your school. It's working if you're working in some capacity that you can actually transfer over in the later lives. Now, you're better than say, oh, whoop right now into New Year Juma Chipotle, which I did. Again, I don't recommend it because they also don't understand school things. We are Juma campus now, our finals coming up. They actually don't allow you to work during finals because they limit the hours. You took out your teacher so more exam, like manager so exam. They understand it more than your boss who will be like, oh, me here's somebody right now in Tino Bremu, regardless. So I would caution you, but recommend you actually work on campus because there are a lot of great on-campus jobs that a lot of people don't apply for. So there are jobs on campus. And international students are actually allowed to work on a lot of on-campus jobs.
Okay, thank you so much. We have another question in the chat. It says, did your race or accent have an impact on you on campus, especially being a Ghanaian and having Ghanaian parents? I'll ask Abel and Carol to take this one.
Oh, definitely. You always have an accent, and people will always pick you out. Where are you from? And I think you should not feel offended. You should be proud of your origins and be proud that you are Ghanaian. And experience. Coming to Ghana, coming to the US to study, my first presentation, I wanted to sound like an American. And I was really struggling because I wanted to blend in. I'm coming from Ghana. I'm doing graduate school. I want to sound like an American. And I was struggling to do my presentation. So I had to regroup and come to my elements that, yeah, I want to be myself. Talk slowly like a Ghanaian. Make sure my diction are coming out. And at the end, the professor called me on side and said, you are one of the first students that have made a presentation that we could hear a word for word. We could actually hear you, every word. So I believe, yeah, your accent will be called to question, but don't be swayed to blend in too much. If you think your pronunciation is good for you, or you want to learn certain words, yeah, you may have to learn certain words that how they are pronounced in America, fine. But stick to your originality. Believe in yourself. Whatever you do, take your time and do your own accent. You will even if you speak like an American, they will pick you up. You definitely have an accent, and people will always ask, "Where are you from? Where are you originally from?" So I think, yeah, it was questioned, and they may try to stigmatize you, to sway you to blending, but don't take that. Stick to yourself and be original.
Thank you, Carol.
Yeah, what Abel said is right. Definitely, you sound different and don't know you're from somewhere. And sometimes you'd say something and then they'll repeat it after you. And you may sometimes feel bad, but it's not really a biggie. If you know what you are doing, you need to just be confident. I had an Ethiopian guy in my class, and I think my English is even better because his accent was really strong, and he'll be presenting in front of us, and we wouldn't hear anything. But then it didn't, prevent him from presenting to us. So I feel like if you find yourself, especially if you're an immigrant and you find yourself in a situation like that, just believe in yourself, believe in what you're saying. Don't think about what people say, oh, it's from Ghana, it's from whatever. No, because at the end of the day, if you do what you're supposed to do well, just as Abel said, you'll be acknowledged. You would have people come to you and say, I like your work. People will like your work regardless of your accent. It's in you.